Last week, Lighting Games released their newest hack-and-slash RPG called Fury Survival Pixel Z. The game has intuitive controls, interesting tech trees, a good storyline, and a mindless therapeutic grind. That being said, not everything in the game is super intuitive, so today Lighting Games has sponsored me to give you 116 tips and tricks to help you guys get started. After linking your account, it will push you straight into the storyline in which you are an ex-Marine that got knocked out while working in a factory when the outbreak of the Z virus hits. You aren't sure how long you've been away, but you do know that you need to find your wife and son. The first 3 levels seem mostly to serve the purpose of teaching you the game by unlocking different parts slowly. As you play, you get access to 3 different weapon slots: a melee weapon, a sidearm, and a rifle. Your melee weapon is by far the most important to prioritize as far as upgrading, because you will need to save your ammo for fighting certain bosses and upgrading the refuge, which we'll talk about later on. And the melee weapon does splash damage, so it is more effective in most situations. When your character reaches level 3, you'll unlock the first skill called Enrage. This skill gives you a 10% boost in damage. Then at level 4, you will unlock the dash skill, which increases your movement speed by 50%. Then at the beginning of the second chapter, you will unlock the landmine skill, which does an area effect damage to those who step on it. And then halfway through chapter 3, you will unlock the EM shield, which is in my opinion the best skill, making you invulnerable to most types of attack. These skills make a huge difference on how effective you will be and should be used as often as they can. Enrage is obviously most effective when you're about to do a lot of damage. The dash is useful for dodging skills in boss encounters and can be pretty helpful if you have to run a long stretch without fighting anything. The landmine is effective pretty much every time you're using your melee weapon, and the EM shield is crucial for staying alive when you are pinned down by huge amounts of ranged units. In addition to these active skills, you also get passive ones. If you plan to max out your character, it doesn't make a huge difference which of these skills you choose because you will eventually get all of them, but I recommend starting with the 2 outer ones that have to do with damage because the benefits multiply with each other. As you go through these levels, make sure you destroy objects to get the extra loot. In doing so, you will find items that are classified into 7 different tiers of quality. White or common items are the most basic. Green or uncommon items are a bit more rare, but you will likely be equipped with all green items by the time you complete the first 3 chapters. You should also have quite a few blue or rare items as well. As you go through the rest of the game, you will interact with purple items, which are classified as epic, yellow items, which are considered legendary, orange items are mythic, and finally red items are classified as artifact. And while as a general rule getting better colors does mean you will have better items, each item also has a level attached to it. For example, you might find a blue weapon that does more damage than your current orange one because it has a higher level. The ultimate goal then would be to find red equipment that is max level, but this would take a very long time. After you finish the 3rd level, you will be brought to the camp, which will trigger the option for you to buy a season pass for a 45% discount. You do not need to buy this pass in order to enjoy the game and get the best stuff in it, but I like to spend a few bucks on games I'm enjoying to support the devs, and if you're similar, I would recommend buying the normal pass, which will cost you around $5. This pass will give you 8 weeks of missions, which will allow you to unlock rewards that speed up your pace in the game and give you some really cool stuff. After making your choice, go and talk to Bear in the middle of the camp, who will give you a new reward for logging in each day. After talking to Bear, you can use this camp to grow carrots, berries, and collect rainwater. After that, you can visit the Wandering Merchant, who is not always there, but when he is, he has some great items for sale, which can be bought with coins that you collect through the chapters. In addition to this, there are a few other things that you will be able to do at the camp once you reach higher levels. The first one is when you hit level 20, you will be able to do the zombie base and zombie lair. The zombie base is one of my favorite challenges in the game because each time feels a little bit different, and when you complete a level, you get what they call a unit. At this time, 2 slots will appear where you can equip those units, and based on which ones you choose, you will get the corresponding abilities here that are incredibly helpful on the battlefield. Also, these units do a percentage damage, so they get more powerful as you get more powerful, and they're really easy to upgrade, so this is probably one of my favorite parts of the game. As you do the zombie base, you will get zombie lair maps. These maps let you do the zombie lair, which is another great place to get resources, especially as you get higher level. These rewards include season level experience, so it is definitely worth doing, though it is important to to note that at the end of each season, your zombie lair level will be reset to half of what you were able to get it to. When you hit level 40, you will be able to do the ultimate challenge. This challenge is a 100-meter race to the finish line, and it does not allow you to use food or health. Meanwhile, a poisonous fog is chasing you, and if you let it get to you, it will do 2% of your health and damage per second, which will kill you really quickly. All that being said, it's pretty fun, and you get equipment enhancers, which is an incredible way to increase the stats on your best equipment. Since you will probably only be level 8 at the time you arrive at the camp, these challenges are a long way off, so go back to the gate and start chapter 4. After you finish chapter 5, you will unlock the refuge. This location will be your main base of operation and has a ton of stuff for you to do. At this point, you will have already saved 1 or 2 survivors, so one of the first things that you can do is dispatch them on missions using this guy. Missions require 3, 6, 9, or 12 survivors based on how much rewards you receive on completion. This is a great way to get lots of resources on the side while you're doing other things. As you find more survivors by playing through the chapters, you will be able to do more and more intense missions. And occasionally you will see this icon showing you that a new survivor has appeared in one of the chapters that you have already played. This will allow you to gain a new survivor should you choose to go back and replay that chapter. Once you hit level 15, you can access the Special Ops mission portal, which is just under this guy. Each day it has 2 different missions you are able to do. Here's a list of what missions are available to you each day and what rewards you can expect to get from them. Most of these rewards are things that you can get other places as well, but one that is different is time reducers. These allow you to reduce the research or mission time on researching or upgrading items in your refuge. Right above the missions, you will see this billboard, which is where you can upgrade your refuge level. In order to do this, you will need to give food and ammo resources to this guy and clothing and medical resources to this guy. A little above this area, you will see a motorcycle, which after you fix it will allow you to blitz through any chapter that you have already completed. You can do this every 6 hours, which is an amazing way to get resources quickly without having to do anything. To the far right of the motorcycle, you will see this machine. You will not be able to use this machine until you're a much higher level, but when you are able to, you can trade in 5 crystals for a higher level crystal. Above the crystal machine is the scientist, which allows you to trade in 3 pets for a higher tiered pet. This too is dependent on a higher level. Above the scientist, you will see some storage lockers. This is pretty self-explanatory in that they allow you to deposit items that you don't have room to keep in your backpack. Right above the storage lockers, you will see the portal to the Endless Abyss. This challenge has 100 levels, and it is the best place to get weapon attachment. You are able to pair these weapon attachments with weapons ranked at blue or higher by equipping them here. You can unequip these attachments and use them on better weapons as you upgrade, so they are very important. At a lower level, it is hard to get very far in the Abyss, and it will use a ton of your meds, but go ahead and do it and get as far as you can at least once, because every 12 hours you are able to blitz all of the levels that you have done so far. As you go further into the camp, you will see an inbox. This is where survivors that you have saved will give you gifts. Immediately to the left of the inbox is the infected zone map. You will not have access to this yet, but as you advance to higher levels, this map will let you do lots of things like the mine, which is another 100 level challenge and your main source of gems in the game. A lot of the strategy in this game is to use your resources to create ways to automate getting more resources. A great example of this is this drill, which allows you to get dozens of gems every day the more you level it up. Also on this map, you will find the world boss. You can challenge the world boss twice a day, which gives you a global ranking. You will then receive coins based on how well you rank in this challenge. The last thing on the world map is the logger camp. This is your best source of wood, especially if you upgrade the camp's machinery. But it also has bosses to fight, which can give you some really amazing resources. Immediately to the left of the infected zone map is the preacher, who will give you daily missions with decent rewards. Right next to him is the research and development device, which allows you to upgrade your character. To summarize these technology categories, the first 2 columns will help you in combat, the third column helps you upgrade your refuge faster, and the fourth column increases how fast you get loot. If you go a little further down, you will see the blacksmith. This area allows you to use the resources you find to build weapons. These weapons are generally going to be better than what you can find in the game, but they are also expensive and become outdated quickly if you are low level. So I'd wait to craft these weapons until you are high enough level that a little bit of edge makes a bigger difference. After the blacksmith, you will see the attachment machine. This machine allows you to put 5 attachments of the same class to get 1 upgraded attachment. This This is the best way to get high level attachments and makes blitzing the Eternal Abyss twice a day all the more important. Below the attachment machine is another vendor who has a new stock of items that you can buy every 45 minutes. Personally, I don't recommend buying a lot of weapons from him, but I do like buying medical supplies since it is one of the biggest needs when advancing in the game. Below the vendor is a medical tent with bunk beds. You can rest in these bunk beds up to twice a day. Each rest will give you 60 stamina. Stamina automatically replenishes, but as you level up, low stamina is one of the biggest inhibitors to advancing quickly. Just below the medical tent is the zombie horde. Every 6 hours, the zombie horde will appear and you will have the option to let your survivors deal with it or help defend your refuge yourself. If you want to help, you are required to use a gun during this event, but you will also be rewarded for the damage that you do. And if you don't help, it is more likely that one of your survivors will die defending the refuge. After that, as you go back towards the entrance of your refuge, you will see a piggy bank. This bank saves 4 coins per minute with a cap of 10,000, so make sure to collect it at least once a day. Okay, so that's all the things that you can do in your refuge, but in order to get access to the higher level features of your refuge, you need to go back to the storyline. When you go to this portal, it will give you the option to continue advancing in the storyline or do chapters that you have already done. Then after you complete the 17 chapters, which finishes the storyline, you will unlock the ability to play the entire game on hard. Then when you complete the 17 chapters again, you will be able to play it on Nightmare, and then Relentless, and then Hell, and then Calloused. As you progress, the ultimate goal of the game is to get all the highest level red gear with red attachments, red crystals, red units, and red abilities. You can also make your equipment even stronger by using the equipment enhancers that you get from doing the ultimate challenge. So that is an overview of the game, but in addition to these 97 tips, I have 19 more for you. As you level up, and especially as you level up your refuge, bandages will be one of the items you need the most. The best way to get more bandages is to use your motorcycle to blitz levels, but if you have already done that and you still need more, then the best way to get more bandages is to do easier chapters. By doing easier chapters, you will still get the same amount of bandages, but since your enemies will do almost no damage to you, you will not be using the ones you have. Also, crafting lots of saline and home remedies will help eliminate the need for bandages. When you hit chapter 7 for the first time, you will unlock your first pet. After that, you will be able to do pet missions, which is the easiest free-to-play way to get pets. Pets are an awesome part of the game. They pick up all your stuff for you, which is really nice, but they also give you some really awesome buffs. For example, my favorite pet right now is this woodpecker who heals me roughly 1% of my health every second, which over time saves me a ton of bandages. So I really love this pet, but this is not the best pet for every challenge in the game, and it is important to pair the right pet with the right challenge for the maximum benefit. If this game takes off, or if Letting Game sponsors me to do another video, I will make one on the best use of pets. When you hit chapter 14 for the first time, you will unlock your first follower. Followers are really nice because they are extra firepower. If you want to equip your follower with different weapons and armor, you will find your followers at the camp near the fire. This is also where you can upgrade your follower skills. These skills are much more basic than your skill tree, but it's still nice to give them some buffs. When you see this shield on an enemy, you need to use your melee weapon in order to do damage. When you see this green goo on the map, it does damage based on a percentage of your health, so it is important to get out of this even if you are fighting at an easy level. My favorite weapon attachment is the one that resets all of your skills. It has a lower chance than the ones that reset a particular skill, but it still happens pretty often, and it is amazing when it does. In the bottom right corner of a lot of places in your refuge, you will notice the option to change the appearance of that machine. As you upgrade those machines to higher level buildings, they will become increasingly effective and the appearance of your camp will improve. Lastly, this game has a lot of grinding, which can be fun and very therapeutic if you take it at the right pace, but because of this intense grind, I do not recommend trying to race to the top. If you do, you will probably get burnt out and end up not liking the game. Rather, if you find yourself getting tired of the grind, I would recommend using your fatigue on blitzing different levels and your resources on automated resource gathering. This will allow you to enjoy the game longer. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps. I know I probably missed something because this game is really big and has a lot of features, so if you noticed something that I didn't, please leave it in a comment below so that I can improve and everyone else can see it. Also, this video was sponsored by Letting Games. If you liked it, please thank them for hiring me to do it. I would love to continue to grow that relationship. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.